Hi class, as you can see, I am not in today. What I need from you today to start with is to please answer the first 6 questions. Do not use a calculator. See if you can do these on your own. And please pause the video. Allow students a few minutes to try to come up with these answers and then restart the video to get the answers. Hopefully you had enough time to do these problems. As you can see up here, 5 times 5 is 25. Times another 5 gives us an answer of 125. 10 times 10 is 100. Times another 10 is 1,000. A negative times a negative is positive. Therefore, we have 9. Times another negative 3 is negative. So we have negative 27. 10 times 10 is 100, times 10 is 1,000, times 10 is 10,000, times 10 gives us our answer of 100,000. 4 times 4 is 16, 16 times 4 is 64, and 64 times 4 gives us 256. We know that a negative times a negative is positive, so these two together are 4, times another negative is negative 8, times another negative gives us 16. Because there are 4 negatives, that makes it positive. These two are positive, these two are positive, because we have an even number of positives. Up here, we had a negative or an odd number, of negative numbers that made our answer negative. So our essential question for the day is, how can you use exponents to write numbers? I have a packet of the workbook in 10.1. If you have your workbook, please use your workbook for that. If not, please get a packet because we will be using some of the packet today. So please pause the video to allow students to get their packet out or get their workbook out. So we are going to work on this table. We'll start it together and then I'll give you a little bit of time to do this together. So we have negative 3 to the first power, which means we have 1 negative 3, so that value is negative 3. In our second problem, we have negative 3 to the second power, which means we have 2 of the negative 3s, so we have negative 3 times negative 3, a negative times a negative is a positive. Our next one is negative 3 to the third power. So we will have negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. Our answer then will be negative 27. Please see if you can do the next 4. Negative 3 to the fourth, negative 3 to the fifth, negative 3 to the sixth, and negative 3 to the seventh. Please pause the video and allow students to do this, and then please come back with some answers. So in this answer, negative 3 to the fourth means negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. That gives us a positive 81 because there are 4 negatives, and 4 negatives make a positive answer. When we have our next answer, we have 5 negative 3s. That gives us a negative answer, so we would have negative 243. When we multiply the next one, we will have 6 negative 3s in that answer. Since there are 6 of them, that's an even number. Our answer will be positive, so we will have 729. And finally, we will have 7 negative 3s. Since there's an odd number, we will have a negative answer, and our answer will be negative 2,187. I have a cube right here at the right that has $3 in each of the small cubes. Write a power that represents the total amount of money in the large cube. So I want you to write a power of probably 3 in this case to see if you can come up with that. Please pause the video, and when you get back, start the video up. Hopefully you had time to figure out that there were 3 as a length, 3 as a width and 3 as a height. That's where this 3 times 3 times 3, the volume of that cube is 3 times 3 times 3. And in each of those, there is $3. Therefore, we will have 3 to the 4th power. So 3 to the 4th will give us the answer of how much money we had. Notice our next question says evaluate the power. Evaluate just means to figure out the answer. So we take 3 to the 4th, which is 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27, times another 3 gives us $81. So in that cube, there are $81. What I would like for you to do next is to work with someone near you. Write each distance as a whole number. Which numbers do you know how to write in words? For instance, in words, 10 to the 3rd equals 1,000. See if you can get a number for each of the following ones, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and if possible, write it as a word. Please pause the video, allow students to see if they can work on these 6 problems. Our first answer, 10 to the 26th meters diameter of observable universe, is actually a 1 with 26 zeros. And looking that up, I know that 10 to the 26th is called 100 septillion. Our second one is 10 to the 21st meters diameter of the Milky Way galaxy. We know that that is a 1 and 21 zeros. Looking that up, we have 1 sextillion. Letter C has 10 to the 16th meters of the diameter of our solar system. That is a 1 and 16 zeros, or called 10 quadrillion. Letter D is 10 to the 7th meters in the diameter of the Earth. That is 10 million. Letter E is 10 to the 6th is the length of Lake Erie shoreline. That is a 1 and 6 zeros. 10 to the 6th is 1 million. And finally, 10 to the 5th meters width of Lake Erie is a 1 and 5 zeros, and that is 100,000. Our next example of exponents is from a poem, a nursery rhyme from the 1730s. They want us to write the number of kits, cats, sacks, and wives as a power. The poem is, as I was going to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Each wife had 7 sacks. Each sack had 7 cats. Each cat had 7 kits. Kits, cats, sacks, wives. How many were going to St. Ives? See if you can figure that out as a power. And then please evaluate to see how many kits, cats, sacks, and wives. So this is a little bit of a trick question, and this is why it's a good riddle. They want you to write the number of kits, cats, sacks, and wives as a power. So I know that there are 7 wives. Each one has 7 sacks. Each sack has 7 cats, and each cat has 7 kits. So this is our actual power that we have, 7 to the 4th. And when you multiply 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 that many times, you will get 2,401. So there are actually 2,401 kits, cats, sacks, and wives. However, the nursery rhyme asks how many were going to St. Ives. How many do you think are actually going to St. Ives? Please pause the video. I'll be right back with the answer. So the actual answer, as some of you may have gotten, is actually 1. Because as I was going to St. Ives, only one person is going to St. Ives. there were along the way the 7 wives, the 7 sacks, the 7 kits, the 7 cats, and even a man. So actually along the way there were 2,402 because we had that man. But the only one going to St. Ives was the narrator or the person telling the riddle. The last thing that we are going to do today is we are going to compare the following powers using greater than, less than, or equal to. So please pause the video and decide which is bigger, 2 to the 10th or 10 to the 2nd, and also 10 to the 3rd or 3 to the 10th. Please pause the video. I'll be back with answers shortly. In our first answer, 2 to the 10th is actually 1,024, and that is larger than 10 to the 2nd, which is only 100. So therefore, we know that 2 to the 10th is larger than or greater than 100. In our last example, 10 times 10 times 10 is actually 1,000. And we also know that 3 to the 10th is 59,049. And because 59,049 is greater than 1,000, we know that 3 to the 10th is greater than 1,000, or 10 to the 3rd. So for the rest of the time, you will have your homework of workbook page 206. There are problems 1 through 10 on that page. They are on the back of the packet if you have that. If not, it is in your workbook. There are to be no calculators used. I want you to solve this either working the problem out or using mental math. Remember, when you evaluate some problems, you must solve those. You must use order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication or division from left to right, and then adding and subtracting from left to right. This will be due on Tuesday, and I will see you back in class on Tuesday. Have a great rest of your day, and best of luck on this work.